Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we are going to learn about IELTS Writing Task 2. We are going to focus on how to write an opinion essay. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to write the introduction. In the next lesson, I'm going to teach you how to write the main body and the conclusion. So if you want to have the complete essay, then I recommend that after watching this video, you watch the next video on how to write the main body and the conclusion so that you have a complete essay. But before we begin this lesson, do not forget to subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful. Also, remember to share this video on all your social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, and on all other social media platforms. I share this video with you with a lot of love, so please extend the love to other people. That way, we are going to make our world a better place. Help me to make this channel a success so that I can keep uploading more videos to help you to improve your level of English and to pass your IELTS exam. Thank you. Now, let's get into our lesson. But before we begin, I would like to give you some information about IELTS Writing Task 2. The first thing that is important to remember is that you get 40 minutes to write your Task 2. You're supposed to write 250 words. But if you're aiming for a band 8 or a band 9, then I would recommend that you write 300 words. Your task 2 is worth about 66% of your total writing marks. You will be marked on task response, that is how well you have answered all the parts of the question. You will also be marked on coherence and cohesion, that is how you link your ideas together using linking words, and how you develop your ideas using simple, compound, and complex sentences, and also how you paragraph your work and you link your paragraphs. You will also be marked on vocabulary. And finally, you will be marked on grammar. Now, the other thing that I would like to inform you about Task 2 is that it is an academic formal essay. There are different types of essay questions that you could get for your writing Task 2. You could get an opinion essay, a discussion essay, an advantage-disadvantage essay, a direct question essay, or a solution essay. In my channel, I have uploaded a video about all the different types of essays that you could get for your Task 2. So feel free to have at my playlist on Writing Task 2 if you want to know more about that. I also have a playlist on IELTS Writing Task 1 if that's what you want. And of course, I have playlists on IELTS Speaking Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. So have a look at my channel and you will find more videos that are going to help you. Now let's get into our question. The question is, the development of tourism has contributed to English becoming the most distinguished language in the world. Some people think this will lead to English becoming the only language to be spoken worldwide. To what extent do you agree? Once you have received your question, it is extremely important that you read it and understand all the different parts of the question. The first part, the development of tourism, has contributed to English becoming the most distinguished language in the world. So English has become the most used language in the world because of tourism. Because of the development of tourism, English has become the most used language in the world. That is the first part. The second part of the statement, some people think this will lead to English becoming the only language to be spoken worldwide. So the second part means that because of the spread of tourism, English has become the most commonly used language in the world, and because of that, some people think that in the near future, English will be the only language spoken worldwide. It will become the only language. Very important word there, only. Because if you don't understand that word within the context of that question, then you're likely to go off topic. Because of the spread of tourism, English has become the most widely used language in the world. And because of that, some people think that in the future, English will be the only language to be spoken worldwide. Now, do you agree? To what extent do you agree? To what extent do you agree? That question means, do you agree 100%? Do you disagree 100%? Or do you agree and disagree? Now, let's look at the background statement. So once you have understood the question, then the next thing that you need to do is to write your background statement. When it comes to the introduction, the examiner is looking for the background statement and the thesis statement. Remember, your IELTS Writing Task 2 should be in 4 paragraphs. The introduction, 2 main body paragraphs, and the conclusion. Remember, you have 40 minutes to write this essay. So you want to be as fast as you can, and you want to make sure that you're putting all the relevant information in your essay in the correct order to score a high band. So how do you write the background statement? It is the easiest part to write. And the reason is because you just need to paraphrase IELTS statement. What does it mean to paraphrase? It means you need to write IELTS statement in your own words. But remember to keep the original meaning. Do not change the original meaning. You can change the form of some words. You can change the form of some words. So let's write the background statement together. All that we're going to do is that we're going to find a synonym for the words in IELTS statement. We are going to replace those words with synonyms. Let's begin. The development of tourism. We are going to replace the word development with growth. The growth of tourism. We are going to replace the word growth, the word development with the word growth. We are going to keep the word tourism, because if you change that word, you're going to change the original meaning of the statement, and you're not allowed to do that. So we are going to keep the word tourism, and we are going to keep the word has contributed. Instead of has contributed, we are going to write has led to. We are going to replace contributed to with led to. After that, we are going to keep the word English, because if you change it, you're going to change the meaning of the statement. The next word we are going to replace is becoming. We are going to replace that word with the word being. The development of tourism has contributed to English becoming. The growth of tourism has led to English being the most. So we are going to replace the word distinguished with prominent. The most distinguished, the most prominent. We are going to keep the word language, and we are going to replace in the world with globally. We are going to replace the word world with globally. So that's how you paraphrase the first sentence. The development of tourism has contributed to English becoming the most distinguished language in the world. That sentence means exactly the same as the growth of tourism has led to English being the most prominent language globally. After that, we are going to paraphrase the next sentence. The first word is some. Some people. We are going to replace that with certain individuals. Some people will become certain individuals. We replace the word some with certain, and we replace the word people with individuals. The next word that we are going to replace is think. We are going to replace that with the words are of the view that. The word think, we are going to replace it with the words are of the view that. We are going to keep the word this. We are going to replace the word will with shall. Shall. And the next word we are going to replace is lead. We will replace it with result. Shall result and will lead mean exactly the same. Will lead to. Shall result to. They mean exactly the same. The next word is English. We are going to keep English, because if we change it, it's going to affect the original meaning. The next word we are going to replace is becoming. We are going to replace that with the word evolving. Evolving. Becoming. Evolving into. Becoming. The next word is only. We are going to replace the word only with one and only. One and only. And then we have the word language. We are going to keep the word language. The next word is to be spoken. We will replace that with communicate, used by people to communicate. That means to be spoken. And the last word that we're going to replace is worldwide. We're going to replace that word with internationally. Worldwide, internationally. Those two words mean exactly the same. They are synonyms. So that's how you write the background statement. All you have to do is paraphrase IELTS statement. Write IELTS statement in your own words, but keep the original meaning. You can change the form of some words. Now, the other thing that is important to remember is if the question has one sentence, then paraphrase that into one sentence. You notice IELTS statement has two sentences. The first sentence is, the development of tourism has contributed to English becoming the most distinguished language in the world. The second sentence is, some people think this will lead to English becoming the only language to be spoken worldwide. Two sentences in IELTS statement. In my background statement, I also have two sentences. So the number of sentences you have in your background statement should not be more than two sentences. If IELTS statement is one sentence, then write one sentence. Sometimes IELTS statement is very long and it's divided with a comma. In that case, instead of writing one very long sentence, you can write two sentences. After that, in the introduction, the examiner is looking for the thesis statement. What should you write in your thesis statement? What is the thesis statement? It is your answer to IELTS question. State your opinion. IELTS question is, to what extent do you agree? In your thesis statement, you have to state your opinion. Do you agree with IELTS statement? Do you disagree with IELTS statement? Or do you agree and disagree? I always recommend to my students, either agree or disagree. Because you have the choice. You can agree 100%, or you can disagree 100%, or you can agree and disagree. If you choose to agree and disagree, then be very careful, because you could get very confused. You might end up writing an essay which the examiner may not understand the development of your ideas. It becomes very complicated when you agree and disagree. So I always recommend to my students, you have 40 minutes to write this essay. Don't make it harder than it is. Just agree 100% or disagree 100%. That makes it easier for you to write the essay. So, after you have agreed, you have decided, you have stated your opinion, then after that you need to state the main reason to support your opinion. State the main reason to support your opinion. Give a reason. Give the main reason as to why you have decided to agree or disagree, or agree and disagree. State the main reason. Now, how do you write the thesis statement? The question that IELTS has asked us is, to what extent do you agree? In my viewpoint, because I want to state my opinion, I will begin with the words, in my viewpoint, or you can begin with the words, in my opinion. This is a Band 9 essay, so I have to use advanced linking words. In my point of view, comma, I disagree. I disagree with the people who argue that English will become the only language spoken all over the world as a result of the increase in the number of tourists globally. There is a spelling mistake there in the word language. It should have one A. Language. Language. Okay, so remove that extra A. That's a spelling mistake. In my point of view, I begin with in my point of view because I want to state my opinion. After that, I state my opinion. In my point of view, comma, I disagree with people who argue that English will become the only language spoken all over the world as a result of the increase in the number of tourists globally. So once you have decided whether you agree or disagree, then explain what you disagree with or what you agree with. And you get that information from IELTS statement. Of course, you need to write it in your own words. I disagree with the people who argue that English will become the only language spoken all over the world as a result of the increase in the number of tourists globally. I disagree with them. I disagree with people who argue that in the future, English will become the only language spoken all over the world as a result of the development of tourism. I disagree with that. I have made it very clear in my thesis statement. After that, you need to write the reason why you disagree. This is due to the fact that, so you can begin with, this is due to the fact that, or you can write, this is because, okay? Because is more of a band 5 linking word. If you want a band 8 or a band 9, then you need to use due to the fact that. This is due to the fact that simply means this is because. There are other equally dominant languages spoken in different parts of the world. So the reason why I disagree with people who argue that in the future, English will be the only language spoken all over the world as a result of an increase in the number of tourists globally. The reason why I disagree with that is because there are other equally dominant languages that are spoken in different parts of the world. So, in the thesis statement, you begin with, in my point of view, and then write, I disagree with, or, in my point of view, I totally agree that. Okay, if you agree. In my point of view, I totally agree that. It's important that you use the word totally. In my point of view, I totally disagree with the people. You can add the word totally here. In my point of view, I totally disagree with the people who argue that English will become the only language spoken all over the world as a result of the increase in the number of tourists globally. And then after that, I give the reason why. I introduce that with, this is due to the fact that there are other equally dominant languages spoken in different parts of the world. So if you want to agree with this statement, then you can write, in my point of view, I totally agree that English will become the only language spoken all over the world as a result of the increase in the number of tourists globally. And then after that, give your reason very briefly as to why you believe that. So there you go. That's how you write the thesis statement. This brings me to the next section of this lesson, where I'm just going to recap the main points in this lesson that should help you to answer this sort of question in the future. Once you have received your question, read the question very carefully. Make sure you understand all the parts of the question. Our question had two parts. The first part was the development of tourism has contributed to English becoming the most distinguished language in the world. That because of tourism, English has become the most widely used language in the world. And the second part, some people think this will lead to English becoming the only language to be spoken worldwide. So the second part means because of the spread of tourism, in the near future, English will become the only language that is spoken worldwide. And then the third part of the question is, to what extent do you agree? So here you need to say, I totally agree, or I totally disagree, or I agree and disagree. And then after that, you explain what it is that you agree with, or what it is that you disagree with, or what it is that you agree and disagree with. So remember to use the words totally. In my point of view, I totally disagree with the people. Or in my point of view, I totally agree with. Because the question is to what extent. Okay? So that's how you answer this question. After you have understood the question, write the background statement. In the background statement, just rewrite IELTS statement in your own words. Remember to keep the original meaning, and some words that if you changed, they would affect the meaning. For example, we kept the word English, we kept the word tourism. And then write your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is your answer to IELTS question. Agree, disagree, or agree and disagree. And then after that, write the reason as to why you have decided to agree or disagree. Now, if you found this lesson helpful at all, if you have learned anything new, then please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and share the video on all your social media platforms. Also, do not forget that in my channel, you can also find videos on grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. I even have videos that will help you to speak English in different situations. For example, if you want to know how to speak English when you go shopping, when you go to the doctor, when you go to the hairdresser, if you want to know how to speak English when you speak on the phone, if you want to know how to speak English when you meet someone new, you want to introduce yourself to them, you want to have a conversation with them in English, don't worry at all. I have videos to help you with that. In fact, I have a complete playlist about how to speak English in different situations. Or maybe you want to know to improve your vocabulary. You want to know words that you can use to describe people, to describe children, to describe food, to describe parts of your house, to describe men, words to describe women. I have a whole playlist about vocabulary. Now, I'm going to leave you by saying bye-bye until our next lesson. Take care.